is the Rangers Journal now.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's post-match podcast on the 3-0 win over Viktoria Plzen tonight. Surprising performance, I think. I think we'll all agree on that. Surprising lineup as well. I think we could all agree on that as well. Tonight, I'm joined by Richard. Richard, how are you?
Oh, press the wrong button there. Yeah, I'm doing good, mate. Really pleased. Good result. Pleased with the majority of the performance. So yeah, in a good mood.
And Ross, how are you, mate? How do you feel after that?
Yeah, very good. It took a lot of balls in that lineup, so I'm glad it worked out for the gaffer.
We'll come on to that. We'll come on to that now. So he came through basically with what he was talking about at the weekend after the disappointing game, talking about hard work and and things like that. And then he's went and he's dropped Tavernier, he's dropped Rothwell, he's dropped Doyle, Raskin as well. There was a raft of changes. So I say the team lineup went Butland, Jeffrey, Suter, Jiga, Arns at right back, Cameron, who I thought was brilliant, we'll touch on that, Rothwell, Diamande, Gassama, Dessers, and Atman, who obviously made his debut for the club. Pardon me, sorry. So that was the lineup. Richard, did you have any concerns at all, or were you glad to see the changes that he made? Absolutely.
I think pretty much every single Rangers fan was pleased with the changes. I think something like that, I don't want to use the term drastic, but something had to change. After his comments on Saturday, I think it became clear that we wanted to see that it wasn't just words, that he was actually going to do something, not just say it as sound bites to please the fan after a disappointing result. But he's actually made the changes, and he's made impactful changes that we were all looking for. It was said in the pre-match show that showing that reputation, how long you've been here, being the captain or being one of our so-called best players, you're not immune to being dropped if you don't perform. So I was really pleased with it.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Ross, just your thoughts then on the changes just before we dive into the match itself?
When I seen it, I was shocked. I think something's going on at the club that the team was leaked as well. I don't know if that's something you want to touch on further on, but something's going wrong somewhere in the club. But it's good that the likes of Tavernier, Zeppelin know they're not automatically in the team. Just because you're a captain doesn't mean you should start. You don't perform, you don't get in the team, So yeah, I'm glad they made the changes.
I think you're right. I think that's something I think that some of our previous managers have been scared to do. With some of the players in that team, and I think he's followed through on what he was saying. And I say certainly, we'll talk about it later on. But the balance of the team looked a lot better. The energy was there straight from the get-go. So we'll dive straight into the match. Just personally, I thought the first sort of 10 minutes, I thought they actually had the sort of better opening exchanges because they created sort of more chances in our half. Granted, there were sort of half chances. You could see they don't really have the quality up front that maybe Panathinaikos say would have had, and maybe would have made better of the chances they had. But then we sucked that up really, and then the first chance Dessers get to hold the ball up and have the ball on his feet. Nice flick inside into Gassama, who puts his 1-0 up. Ross, I'll stick with you on this. What did you think of the goal? The movement, everything?
Brilliant play from the start. Dessers has got a lot of doubters, so the build-up was superb. Gaza, what a steal he's been for Rangers. It was worth the wait to try and get him in. But yeah, I'd actually go as far as to say maybe Dessers for my man of the match, to be honest. He's proved myself wrong and a lot of others. Very impressive to the goal tonight.
Richard, just your thoughts on the build-up, the movement of the goal?
It's what we've been crying out for I can't even tell you how long. Just somebody to be able to have that link up to run through and run through the lines. I think we imposed ourselves really well from the start of the game. Obviously, Pilsen tried to do the same and showed little glimpses that perhaps it wasn't, well, I don't want to say it's going to be easy for us, but perhaps they were going to be, quite a bit of a threat, but it didn't turn out that way. So yeah, but overall, really pleased. I thought it was a great goal, great link-up play by Dessers, the way he just sort of held it and timed the pass for Gassama's run. So yeah, excellent bit of play, and really pleased with it.
Yeah, all sort of came together. Then at that point, we grew into the game. Really, I thought, and you could see the style of play come together, and you could see what they're trying to do. I'm going to shout out two names at Ross, Rothwell and Cameron. First half, I thought Cameron was fantastic. Everything that we were expecting from him when he came, because that's what I always thought he was and what he would bring when he came for Dundee. Was just a bundle of energy in that midfield, and he ran himself ragged the first half.
Yeah, so those two boys, they proved the manager why he should be starting. Very, very, very impressive to them. Today's probably the best Rothwell's played. I wasn't 100% sure on him the last couple of games. I don't know if it was just used to the Rangers system or what, but yeah, Cameron is a cracking young Scottish player. Really good player. I'm glad we got the Rangers.
Richard, just only touch on Rothwell there. I think Rothwell's sort of one of those players that maybe goes under the radar a wee bit, in terms of his involvement is maybe not as noticeable, but you can see what he's doing, and you can see he's doing a job, because for everything, what I noticed, particularly in the first half, was that he was always there to take the ball off the two centre backs. He was always an option to pass, and he was always telling them where the next pass should go. I thought he just suited that role perfectly today.
Yeah, I think that's what he's been, brought in to do. Like, he does the dirty work in a way. He's always making himself available, as you say, always doing the running, the covering, all the sort of stuff that really goes unnoticed a lot of the time. So he played well without doing anything absolutely outstanding. But what he did do, he played his role to perfection. Really pleased with it, and I'm just going to touch on it. I'm sure you're probably going to ask next, but in the first half especially, I was quite disappointed with Diomande. I thought the game passed him by. Didn't really get involved in a couple of occasions where he did have it, especially in the back. He made a bit of an arse of it. So he came on in the second half, which I'm sure we'll touch on. But in the midfield, Rothwell thought he was. I don't want to say amazing, but he done everything that he was asked of him in abundance. So yeah, good performance.
Ross, then we'll obviously talk about the debut man, Ant-Man.
Yes.
Getting breath of fresh air down that right hand side. I thought he was great. He's pacey. He's direct. He's good feet. He's everything that kind of we've been lacking in that right hand side. Particularly this season. I know we had it sort of last season with Cherny. But I would say maybe Cherny's a different type of player for Ant-Man, but certainly you can see what he was brought in to do from the first half performance anyway.
Yeah. So with Ant-Man, when's the last time Rangers fans were up on their feet? Actually, we're happy with a bit of play Ibrox. Very impressed with Ant-Man. Very impressed. It's kind of player I'm assuming that Martin wants. So yeah, hopefully that's just the start at the beginning. Ant-Man one side, the Gas on the other side. Just the wingers were just on fire tonight. What we're missing indeed. So
yeah, definitely from both sides, and obviously then we'll go on to the second goal. Richard, it's Ant-Man's on the left hand side, so there's a switch of wingers at this point. Breaks from deep, drives into the box, quick feet again, and just as he's about to shoot, he's clipped, and he goes down for the penalty, and then Desser steps up and sends the keeper the wrong way.
Yeah, it was a great bit of play, and it was Ant-Man that actually started the build-up in our own half. So I was a little bit gutted for him that he didn't get the rewards for all his efforts. Didn't get the strike away and the goal for himself. But equally, what a performance! No, just touching on what Ross said, having two attacking threats wide, with pace that can put a cross in. Ant-Man especially put a couple of cracking deliveries in today. Gasman, the the threat that he has. Not seen him with his delivery quite so much, but we've seen him be able to take his man on, go to the byline. So we've seen his pace, and he can pick up a pass when he's in the box. So he's doesn't feel that pressure to just lash at it. So to have that threat on both sides, because previously we've only had it on one the last few seasons, to have it on both sides.
Yeah.
So, something we've been crying out for, and long may it continue, to be honest. Hope to see more of it.
Go ahead, Ross, you want to say something?
Sorry, I'm just agreeing with what you're saying 100%. It's what we've missed over the years. Rather than just, as you said, the likes of Cherny, for example, but it's good that we can mix it up both sides of the park. I was quite impressed with Jeffy tonight as well. Being on the left as well, but actually Aaron's is actually not too bad game either, being on the right hand side.
Yeah, well, we'll touch on Aaron's later on.
Yeah.
But I think, like as Richard says there, having two wingers that are both direct, can hit the byline, can cut the ball back, because Gassama did that sort of halfway through the first half, where it was one that he played it back. It was the right ball, right to sort of the edge of the box for that man coming in, and obviously was cleared off the line. And then, as we'll touch on the second half, also that man does the same for Gassama. I thought then, sort of coming up to half time, obviously we get the second goal. It probably makes Russell Martin's team talk probably that slightly more comfortable. Really, it just be a case of keep doing what you're doing. Ross, would you have changed anything, or were you happy just to keep it the way it is?
I was happy the way it was. I would have made change 60 odd minutes. I know he did it a wee bit later, but I was quite impressed in the first half. The build up, I watched it from the build up, going from right back to the left wing into the middle. It was really good. I don't think there were any subs needed at half time at all, and I'm glad he did stay for the same team. So,
Richard,
what about yourself? Were you happy with everything was going? Would you have made any changes, or were you just
no? I think those. Sorry, I was like, other than from the first half for me, Diamandi was the standout. Well, I'd say the standout, the one that I noticed the most. It wasn't really imposing himself in the game. Didn't really get involved in any way. So if there was any change, I would have expected it to be him. But I thought, at half time, get him in there, tell him what he needs to do. Same with the rest of the players. They were all doing their job to a man. We were 2-0 up. We were fairly comfortable. There wasn't really that much of a threat. I think just a couple of loose passes, particularly at the back, need to shore up. So no, I was quite happy. Let the same side go back out and carry on doing what they were doing, or doing it even better.
I think you're spot on. Like I see, my take from it was that they didn't really create much in terms of they split us open or they caught us out. Anything that they got always seemed to be something from our own fault. It was a slack pass here, or it was a lost possession further up the park that meant they were hitting us on the counter. But it was overall through the match, Butland I think only had to really dive for one chance that was deflected, and then there was another shot a guy hit from outside the box. It was a decent effort, but obviously Butland dealt with it quite easy. So yeah, they didn't really offer much. I thought maybe we would struggle a wee bit more against them because of the changes in the team and how things might have planned out, but wasn't the case. And maybe the occasion or the atmosphere got to them. I'm not too sure. You can't fault certainly the first half. You can't fault the players' work ethic. Everybody was giving it 100. And so we were chatting about that in the group chat. Everybody was on it from the man going forward. Like it was definitely a great team performance the first half.
Yeah. Sorry, mate. I was just going to back up what you were saying. It's the old adage of although we're here to dissect it, but the performance doesn't matter as long as we get the result, especially in these games. So you tell me at the start of the game, would you take 3-0? Absolutely, I would. So more than happy with that. But are there things that we want to improve on? Absolutely. The passing at the back, it's heart in your mouth times. We knew that was going to happen as soon as Russell Martin was appointed. We knew that's the style of play he was going to impose. Whether or not we had the players for it, they're trying to do it. They're getting away with it at the minute. Don't get me wrong; they're giving us all a few heart attacks at the same time. But so far, we've got away with it. which that's what they need to work on in the training ground. So, but overall, we have to be pleased. The players done their job, and one step into the next round, or 1 foot.
So I said Richard with the playing from the back. Unfortunately, we're just going to go on with it. A lot of fans aren't happy with it, but I thought if we get 2 goals to the 1, if we lose odd 1 or 2 goals, see how we go up the other end and do the same. Is it working for the team? If that's who wants to play. Don't know what your opinion on that is, guys.
I think, personally, I do think it is something, yes, we're going to have to get used to. And yes, the players are going to have to get very good at it, because if we're doing that in the Champions League group stage, we'll soon know about it, because you can't make mistakes at that level. I mean, you certainly can't. But again, that's we'll have to get there first. We have to get earn the right to get there. But certainly, up or against higher quality opposition, those passes will need to be crisper, cleaner, and faster at that level, because to say we'll not have the same time on the ball as we do at this current level that we're playing on.
Do you know what I was a little bit disappointed about? And I don't know if you're going to touch on it, mate, but just coming to my head now. The last 15, 20 minutes, I know we were 3-0 up, the tie practically over, but I just feel that we had the opportunity to really take the game by the scruff of the neck. One more goal, and that would have been completely it. And even if we didn't get it, the players didn't really even seem to want to get it. Now, that might be me being greedy and anything like that. And I can understand that. Job's done, move on to the next game. But I just thought, keep pressing them a little bit more. We had them on the ropes. Just, I felt that we should have really, pushed that a little bit more. But that's just me. What do you guys think?
No, I actually agree with you, Richard. I feel like the last 15 minutes, the guy's just going to switch off. The game's done. Keep the ball. That's what it felt like. But we get a couple of more goals, you'd be laughing. Yeah, we're up 3-0, but what if they scored out of the first one at second leg? We're going to be crap myself.
Well, we'll bring that. Ross. We'll bring it to that, because I think obviously we get the third goal. Great ball by Arns, in the back channel, cuts them wide open. Ant-Man runs on, lays it on a plate, just a nice chip ball into the area, and it's an easy header for Gassama. 3-0, and I think that's whenever the third goal goes in, I think that's when the foot comes off, and you can see it. There's a drop in intensity. There's a drop in terms of the balls going forward, and those penetrative balls going forward. I think we just kind of took the foot off the gas a wee bit from the third goal. Not even the last 15, but I mean that's just my opinion. Obviously,
you're saying that. I think, mate. Sorry, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the third goal was on the 51st minute. Yeah, 51st minute. Yeah. Somebody will need to fact check for me, but I'm pretty confident because he scored on the 15 and 51st. But so just 51st minute, and we're taking our foot off the gas. Come on.
Just to back these up as well, guys. See, like, don't. When Martin needs made his change, prove to him why you should be playing. Don't just sit back with the ball. Prove him why you should be playing. Whether it is nice crosses, nice passes, whatever. Don't just sit back. I don't know. It's boring. All it takes that one slack pass, I said, and they've scored. But that's just my opinion on it. Should have kept going, and actually the Cookies have got 1 or 2 extra goals easy. They were playing tonight. Well, that's just my opinion.
No, 100%. I get that, and I agree. I don't think then the subs come on. Like, I'm just looking at my notes here. Arns goes off a dead leg shortly after. Yeah. Shortly after Rothwell goes off, and Raskin comes on, and sort of buzzes around the pitch. But again, there's no real sort of going forward product out of him. Danilo comes on for Dessers, Barron comes on for Cameron, and I think for me, Cameron was man of the match up until he took off. Yeah. He was just everywhere. And then at one point, I think my next note is the 77th minute where Gassama's on the touchline. He's 2-on-1 and he's backing into the guy, and he just uses his feet and he just dribbles out the two of them. That's the only highlight I've got the second half of my notes here, because there's very little happening. The only other shout out I've got here is obviously Curtis comes on for Ant-Man. Ant-Man, solid debut. He's got an assist. Shows you that we've been crying out for somebody with a bit of quality and a bit of pace on that right hand side. He's here now. The position's his, as far as I'm concerned. I don't want to see any other players near that position apart from Curtis, who obviously came on to replace him. And then my final note is a shout out to Giga, who I thought again strolled the game. He made a crucial block sort of in the first half. Didn't put a foot wrong. I didn't think there was anything else really in the second half really worth a note. Dio hits the crossbar, sorry, at the start of the second half.
Yep.
Good effort from outside the box. That's it.
The only thing I took from it was Racing coming on for Rothwell. Does the manager see Racing as a 6 and not actually attacking midfielder? I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be against Racing as a 6, but then that gives the two of them competition. Who wants it more, Rothwell or Racing? Prove to the manager. That's what you want for the players. You don't, as come back to, you don't want to automatically pick. You want to prove to the manager why should be playing. So it could be interesting games to come. What happens there?
Richard, then just your overall thoughts on the match. Just basically sum it up. How you feeling then going into the next leg?
Feeling pretty confident because apart result, scoreline apart, like, Plzen didn't really impose themselves, didn't show us anything that any threats in any way. But I'm not going to take it for granted, and we shouldn't. It's going to be a different game over there. But I don't think we've got anything to fear at all. Really pleased with the majority of the performance overall. The scoreline, absolutely greedy. We wanted 4. We got 4, as somebody said in the comments. We'd want 5. All right, but being picky about it, the only thing that I'm disappointed is that we didn't really push for it, whether we got it or not. But I just felt it became a bit of a keep ball exercise towards the end. Now, that's just not the style of football that I want to see, but I'm happy my team won, happy with the performance, we're through, nobody's injured. Well, touch wood that Aaron's was just a slight knock. So yeah, overall, pretty pleased, pretty confident in the next round, and I'm going to be interested to watch the Salzburg Bruges game tomorrow.
Yes.
Ross, just sum up your thoughts then the night and going forward into the next leg.
Yeah, as the two have said, first half impressive. Second half, there were nothing much to report. I mean, I wrote down notes as well, the tactics, there were nothing much to report in the second half at all. As I said, Deal was unlucky. But as you said, Richard, with the players, do more the second half. We want to go as much control as possible. Yeah, feeling confident. If we start the way we started tonight, no issues. I'd go as far as saying start the same team over there. But again, everyone has different opinions, but I just feel like all the guys tonight proved why they should be starting the next game.
I think they've earned it, mate, just to back you up.
Exactly, yeah.
The team that started tonight have earned the chance to start in the next leg. I think somebody put in the comments that Russell Martin said in his interview that it'll be a different team at the weekend.
Yeah, apparently.
No problem with that, because it'll be a different style of game.
That, but
yeah, it'll be a different type of game at the weekend. But I think, the team that started tonight have earned to start next week.
Yeah.
No, that's it. Totally agree. I just think disappointing sort of last 30, 35 minutes, really, if you could sum it up. But the job's half done. I don't expect us to go over there and make a meal of it, because it's not really what we do in European games like that. We've got the experience. There's plenty of people there that have been there and done that. So
what we don't want to see, mate, just adding to what you're saying, is like we don't want them to go over there and just play the way it was in the last 30 minutes. Just keep the ball. We want that, because just a single goal, especially if we get the first goal, game's over. All right, so do that. I don't want to see them, try to keep the ball, try to play around them when it's still 0-0. I want to see them impose themselves. I want to see them, win the tie. That's what I'll be looking for. That's what I'm hoping for.
One thing I will mention was I've seen the comments on Facebook and Twitter as well. Just pass it back to defenders. I don't see the issue. As long as we keep possession, I'm not bothered with the pass it. If we keep possession, brilliant. Again, I know a lot of people are against it, but if we do something with that, why not? So,
I think it's just this style of play. It's just
exactly. Yeah.
We just need to get used to it. It's going to be about passing in front of people to draw them out to try and get round them. It's patterns of play. It's going to be trying. It's going to be all sorts of short stuff. You only hit the long ball really whenever whenever they've pushed up, and you can suck them in. And we did that a couple of times tonight, and we got a goal from it. European ties, particularly this one, will probably be different because ideally they think they're going to be able to get a chance to come out at us early. We hit them on the counter, sucker punch them. That's 4, and then the game's going on at that point, and it's just like you say, it's a training game. But yeah, the way we're playing out the back and stuff, I think it's just something we're just going to have to try and persevere with, because it's going to be the way forward for us. Ideally, we get, we bring more quality in the centre back that can use those short passes better, because Suter's not that sort of, he's not got the,
the strength to do it.
Aye, it's the passing quality.
Yeah.
Well, if you want somebody to compare it to, I'm not really going to hate saying this player's name, but Van Dijk is the benchmark of that type of player. Can start anything from the ball at his feet and the back line, but he can carry the ball forward, comfortable with the ball at his feet, and can do and start up things on his own. But obviously we're looking for somebody of that quality bringing in for £30 million though, aren't we? That's it. I'll give a wee shout out to our pod sponsor now, just when I've got plenty of yous on here. It's you can see it on the screen there. It's Off to the Match I Go. If you go there and get your bespoke Rangers goods, there's a lot of good stuff on there. Put Journal 10 in at the coupon section, and you get your 10% off. Then we've discussed the next leg. Then obviously we've got the game coming up on Saturday. As has been said in the comments there, he's not going to go with the same 11, so we expect sort of wholesale changes. We expect Tav to come back in, and probably Danilo to start unless Egeman's fit. Hopefully we see your boy Asgard get a run out and he's back, even if it's only 10-15 minutes. I just want to see him on the pitch just to make sure he's actually still in the building. Richard,
I would love to see Mikey Moore. I'd love to have a little bit of
we're still in the registration phase. We feel stuff, aren't we? It's one of those things that because he's still classed as a minor, there's
it's not helping.
On. So, but yeah, again, I totally agree. He's a sort of player we want to see. And want to see what he can do, because he's an exciting young talent, isn't he?
But with that, Jock, I believe it's just Europe that's the issue. Domestic side, I believe. I'm not sure. I'm just going what I've read.
I think you're right. It's just the European side. Richard, then just your thoughts then, looking forward to Saturday's game. Then, what do you expect? Same, obviously he's not going to go with the same lineup. Are you expecting the same performance?
Well, I'll certainly be aiming for that. It's a massive improvement from the weekend. We done well for the first 15 minutes, but as soon as we got the goal, we turned into a completely different team rather than imposing ourselves on the game. So that sort of maintaining that standard and that press and that desire to win the game outright is what I'm going to be looking for, regardless of who starts. I expect there to be changes, as we've already discussed. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and really hoping that what Martin's done today with regards to changing the lineup is really set, not a benchmark, but really gave the players a bit of a boot up the arse, really, to be honest. Really, to say, right, I need to turn the heat up every single game, not just when I feel like it, to every single player. So that's really what I'm looking forward to.
Sorry, prove to the manager why you want to play. We don't know what happens. We don't know what happens in the training. But if you don't prove in training or whatever, you don't deserve to play. If you don't have desire to play for Rangers, on you go. Simple. We can't. We've had players before that aren't interested in playing for Rangers, and they're on the wages. What's the point? I'd rather players that actually want to play for the badge, not the money, for the badge.
I don't really think that's the issue. I think they do all want to play, or certainly the majority of them.
Yeah.
I think it's just whether or not they're going to carry out the instructions, to the letter for 90 minutes, rather than getting frustrated, or rather than playing it safe. Actually play the way he wants to play, that he's told him to do. If you're not going to do that, even if you do want to play for the club, you won't be in the team. You'll be on a bench. So I think that's more what his point he was getting at, and that's what I'm looking forward to seeing at the weekend, because I think he's made a statement to the players. So I'm hopeful that statement will resonate.
Ross, then, just your closing thoughts leading up into the Saturday's game.
Yeah, looking forward to it. As two guys have said, there are going to be changes, but I just hope they are positive changes. We don't take too much risks for the next European game. It's not worth the risk, you know. Yeah, 3 points is brilliant, but Champions League money as well. We need it, you know. But yeah, hope for Saturday. Late kick-off, 5:45, going to be a late one for everyone, but hope for a very positive game at Ibrox for a change in domestic anyway. I say for a change, Victor, but hoping.
That's it.
But
As
hoping
Ross
for
We
a
all
game.
are, mate. We all are.
Exactly.
As Ross says, it's a 5:45 kick-off at Ibrox on Saturday. It's a strange kick-off. It's something that we might have to start getting used to. But yeah, Rangers done the job tonight. 3-0. Can't ask for any more. Being greedy, a couple more goals, but some great individual performances from some of the new guys, and certainly a great team performance for probably the guts of maybe 55 minutes if I'm being nice. We are back again tomorrow night. And I think that's 9 o'clock. I think we're on tomorrow. And then I'm back on Thursday night as well. Probably going to be a Q&A of some kind, and then obviously with the Rangers news on Friday, and then we'll do a post and pre-match pod on Saturday for everybody as well. So don't forget, folks, like and subscribe. Join us as we see the week out, and then go into the game obviously at the weekend, and then we'll bring it back round again for the return leg of this half time as Russell Martin still remains unbeaten as Rangers manager. And just remember, guys, every night